Hello and welcome back. We've taken up residence in a massive Lycanites dungeon and killed most of the bosses. There's still an observer stuck underground, but he doesn't bother us. So I can finally build my auto farms in peace. Acquiring cactus is first on my list. I searched for hours, and the only desert I could find was a small island 1,000 blocks away. I rushed over and punched the cactus, but got nothing because I forgot my axe. So I got to fly all the way back home to retrieve it. Eventually I was successful, but the sirens and sea monsters sure did make it difficult. Planting the seed in sand will grow a tiny cactus from dynamic trees. These look really interesting, but cannot be auto-farmed. Planting the block, however, gives me a vanilla cactus, which can be farmed using fences. I made a small water collection system under a few rows. I noticed that the cactus won't break items in this pack, so I can plant them closer together than you normally would. Using the green dye and lapis, I craft some greenhouse glass. You can also use cayenne coral if you live by the ocean, but I don't think it's renewable. Normally, wheat only grows in the summer and fall. By using greenhouse glass above the crops, it will grow in all seasons. I've gotten the green thumb and harvest efficiency perks up to level 4. The wheat is growing almost as fast as I can harvest it. I will build an auto crop farm eventually, but this works for now. It's also a great source of experience, just watch out for the spriggans. With a constant supply of wheat, I can now breed the cows and collect my chupacabras. They spawn in the underground half of the tower, so I didn't have to go far. I broke out a few blocks on each floor and carried them up with my rock. They do attack you while flying, so I had to work quickly. One issue I found is the babies will climb up the stairs and jump down over and over again. It only deals 1 damage, so it takes a while, but they will die from it. You can avoid this by standing on the ground to hold their aggro until they grow up. I summon a nymph to heal them as needed. Make sure it's set to passive though, so it doesn't kill the breeders. That won't be a problem once I block off the top. They also heal from eating farm animals if you don't have a staff yet. After breeding them a couple times, I came back and found some of the chupacabras in the other chamber. From here they could reach the adult cows and killed every last one. I think this happened because the trapdoor was against the wall instead of across from the slab. This gave the babies a ledge to stand on and crawled into the chamber. I used a piston to push a new trapdoor below them, this time facing the right direction. Just breaking it would let them escape into the pen, which I didn't want to deal with. I haven't had any issues since then, but it's still a good idea to keep a group of cows somewhere else. Using the carry-on mod, I can easily bring them up the ladder. Once I have 25, any extra will die from entity cramming. Now I can replace the blocks on the front and top. Also, remove the stairs and fence. I'm glad this farm is finished, since the meat gives you life leech for 12 seconds. Then I built an iron farm, so I can later make an item filter for all I loot. We've already filled at least 15 double chests, and I can't ever find what I need. I used the corner of a room on the top floor to make the sides and roof of my farm. This saved a lot of time and materials. The green lush stone is blast and fireproof as well. I build a ring of slabs above the water source blocks, high enough so the golems can still spawn. This will keep it from freezing over in the winter. Since it's 112, I replaced all our wooden doors with iron around the base. I found a big town west of us, surrounded with stone walls. I recognize some of the buildings from Lord Docker's medieval tutorials. Unfortunately, it's not a vanilla village, so there was no waystone. Then I carry the villagers back to the farm with my rock. Aegis start spawning when I place the first villager. They're meant to protect the village from zombie attacks. Since I built the farm up so high, Djinn spawn as well. Even though they are both only level 3, they combine into a self that's between 60 and 90. And of course they are hostile, making it very frustrating to breed my villagers. I had to summon nymphs frequently to keep them from dying to the AoEs. I guess this is payback for all the selves I farmed last playthrough. I built another room below the farm and covered the floor with slabs. I breed the villagers here and carry them up to their pods one by one. I prefer them separated so it's easy to tell if one has died. You can pick up the little ones with your hands if you don't have a rock. Once I have 10 villagers around the top, iron golems start to spawn. So I'll be mass producing hoppers very soon. I added a grand staircase in the front room lined up with the doorway. This room was too tall for just one floor. I think the teal bricks from Lycanites are really pretty. You can find whole dungeons made of this material or craft it with obsidian and cobblestone. I have space for another room behind the stairs, but I haven't decided yet what to do with it. I built the library on the second floor above the armory. The outside is kind of boring, but I may add some columns later. Inside, there's an enchanting table in the center with a lovely view of the forest. I added a bunch of chests on both sides so we can store all the enchanted books. I keep the short stories and poems in the top chest. We find them randomly in dungeons, and I think it's a nice addition. I also have a few copies of my atlas and an experience tome in here. This can store up to 30 levels at a time. I've made sure to light up the library completely and covered the floor with carpet for good measure. I soulstoned a green and purple chupacabra and took them to a nearby dungeon. Since their attacks healed them, they pretty much killed everything without my help. Little green ramens spawn in dark rooms and inflict instability. They drop chaos charges, which I feed to my chupacabras to level them up. They only give 50 experience per, so it takes quite a few. With the low ceilings, even flying mobs are within melee range. There were a few blighted mobs that gave us trouble, but I mostly just followed them around, collecting tons of experience and loot. Some mobs caused them to breed, giving me even more chupacabras. Someday I'll have a whole army. Your pets and summons also get damage from the sneak attack perk, so I hold shift the whole time. I looted a lucky amulet from a chest, which improves your drop rates when equipped. Shortly after, I found 2 wither skulls on the ground. They were probably from a reaper, but my pets killed everything before I got to the room. Now I just need 10 more skulls, and I can start exploring the lost cities. I hope you enjoyed this episode of RLcraft, and I'd love to hear what you think of it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.